G'day, so we're going to look today at carbon compounds, and basically we're going to look at the different types of bonds they can form, and as well as different kinds of shapes. And this gives us upwards of 10 million discovered carbon compounds already, and more every day. Alright, so basically we're talking about organic chemistry, which is essentially the chemistry of carbon compounds and how they interact. Now, the majority of substances we use on a daily basis, they are organic chemicals. Now, this doesn't mean they're found, they've come from a living thing, or they're not used with pesticides. It just means it is a compound made out of carbon, and then some hydrogen and oxygen, nitrogen. Okay, so there are 10 million plus, and more are being discovered every day. Formulas can be written as three types. You can write them as a molecular formula, which you've seen before. You can write them as a structural formula, which is, you have to get used to doing that. We'll do that more and more. Or a condensed structural formula. So we see this one here, if we pull that pen out. It's the same as this, except this CH3, boom, 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 and this CH3 it's broken up into separate subunits. All right. Why? Why is this diversity possible? Well, it's the valence electrons. So each carbon has, we're basically about to go through 4 properties that explain why this is possible. Each carbon atom has 4 valence shell electrons. It can share these to form covalent bonds, and it can share them in a variety of ways. Now, so if we go back here, we can see that the carbon has shared, so these red ones here are for this carbon, these blue ones are for this carbon, and you can see that it's able to share them to get its 8 in the outer shell. Covalent bonds, well, basically they can be single, double, or triple bonds. So compounds containing only single carbon-to-carbon bonds, we call those saturated. Ones that contain any double or triple bonds, we call those unsaturated. For example, ethane has 1 pair of shared single bonded electrons. Ethene has 2 pairs of shared double bonded electrons, and ethine has 3 pairs of shared or triple bonded electrons. Alright, so we get various shapes out of it. Basically, you can get them to form chains or rings. We have hexane, which is a straight chain, and it's not really a straight chain, it's actually a zigzaggy shape, but we'll get to that later. We have 3 ethyl 2-methyl pentane, which is a branched chain. So if you go along, 1, 2, there's a methyl group, 3, there's the ethyl group, which is the 2, okay, on a pentane, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got cyclohexane, which is a ring-structured compound. So carbon can also bond with other nonmetals. So it can share its valence electrons with nonmetals. For example, these tend to be hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, or the halogens, which are in group 7. So that's your chlorine. So you can have carbon tetrachloride, tetra meaning 4. 1-chlorobutane, and again, butane, because it's got 4, that's what butane is, with the 1 Cl off the back there. Or you've got 2-butanol, OH group, and this is, when we said it was like a zigzaggy structure, that's sort of what we mean. Alright, so that's it. That's the brief introduction to carbon compounds.